Slowly kisses busting by the river.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Papergoy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And she's Marilyn Monroe. And she's part of our What's Sold on eBay Bolo edition every Saturday. And why don't you take it away, Mr. Magazine?
All right. Well, what were we just talking about?
Marilyn Monroe.
And
Grading.
here we go.
So we have a video coming up soon about grading.
Yeah.
Dramatic foreshadowing.
Yeah. 2 years ago, I probably would not have gotten this graded, but I've become smarter and I got it graded. Anyway, so it's a 7.5 CGC 1953 magazine.
That's early.
It is definitely early. Not bad condition. 7.5 is always good for something that's 70 years old. It's probably worth 100 to 200 ungraded. So obviously, I sold it for 700. So it's definitely worth the $50 grading cost. So definitely.
That's all that goes for is 100 to 200 ungraded. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, high grade might sell for a little more, but yeah, it's surprising. Yeah.
Now, how high up the chain, any idea was that? As far as, were there a lot of them higher graded? Or no?
Believe it or not, because she's so famous, I would guess that there were some in the 8s and 9s. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, wow. She's heavily graded. Out of many there's not many magazines people are grading. She's one that they're jumping on the bandwagon for.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. All right. Next up, it's a Retrovision movie magazine.
Now, I've never seen that Retrovision before.
Again, 007, Highlander, and stuff. Sean Connery. But my point is, a lot of vintage movie magazines sell. I picked up a couple big collections from a local gentleman, all different titles. I've never had half of them before, and they sell like hotcakes. So if you see anything out there, if it looks different, if it's got movies from the 80s and 90s, I would buy it for whatever, 50 cents a buck, $2.
Any idea what year that was?
Oh, I gotta say 80s. It's got Highlander, late 80s.
I mean, it didn't note the year. I just wonder if they listed down below what year it was.
Yeah, they also did not note Pam Grier or Wonder Woman, Linda Carter either, but it's still sold for $19.
There you go.
You know, it's a win-win. Next up, People Magazine, Dwayne Johnson, also known as The Rock, which is not in the title.
They must have not had a picture of me.
Yes, exactly.
See, and that one, I think they botched the listing.
Well, it doesn't say The Rock.
I would actually put Sexiest Man Alive.
Well, that's
because that's a once a year. It's almost like when Time Magazine does Person of the Year.
They sell. Yes.
They sell. People collect the ESPN, the body issue.
Yep.
You definitely want to list the body. So on that one, I would actually, if you've
Sports
got
Illustrated swimsuit issue.
Yep. Yeah. So if you've actually got a pile of People magazines and they want $2 a piece out of them, I would just rush through them, go through them pretty quickly, and just grab the Sexiest Man Alive issues. Yeah. And I think that those would be a good investment to sell.
And if you look at the cover, it's got that sticker on the side. It's got the Sharpie blacked out in the mailing address. So it's not a great looking issue. One with no mailing label could be $25, $30.
Yeah.
You can still pick them up for 50 cents a buck.
Yep.
All right. Well, I was saying basketball is not hot, but we're still selling cards of guys that really aren't that good at this point or not that famous.
Wow.
James Wiseman.
Some shrapnel on his
channel. It is rookie card. He's local or near Rochester, I think he came from. Oh. But anyways, card went for almost $100. I was shocked. It's not even signed. It is a rare card, but people are still collecting. Post-COVID, basketball is still hot, I would guess.
19 out of 25. Yeah, so I was pulled. Somebody pulled that from a pack. 19 out of 25.
Yeah, it is a rare card, but nevertheless, you see stuff like this out there, and surprising, it goes for a lot of money still.
Nice.
All right, Erdl Tops Friendly Markets Truck and Trailer. This is a local Rochester company, 19 inches long.
Buffalo, actually.
Buffalo. Wow. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I can't wait to critique you next. It is long metal, as described.
$48.
Yeah. So yeah. I think I asked originally $60, then it was on sale and sold for $48.
So $48 is pretty good.
New in box. It's I'm guessing it's probably from the 80s or 90s. It looks a little older, maybe 90s. But Erdl did make it, and just goes to show you anything local or near your local town still sells.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's see. And lastly, my employees laugh at me sometimes when I give them things, and they're saying,
"It's not just your employees."
No. Well.
Anywho,
so they'll say, "Are you serious? Who's gonna want this?" I said, just get it on there.
Yeah, I would list it in a second.
It will sell.
Yes,
it will sell. It's about 30 years old. Demco 1993, full line catalog, library, school, office supplies. It is 800 pages, so you're getting your
a lot of reference.
You're getting bang for your buck. And $26, I probably paid $1. You know, 2 tops. If they probably got in a bulk deal in a box. So, but it looks like nothing, and it goes for something.
And that'd be one of those things, like that's 1993. If I had something like that from 1893, one of our friends would probably list it at like $850 or $1,000.
Rightly so.
And he probably would get $500
Yeah.
out of it. So
For sure.
sometimes those really obscure things, you can definitely get a lot of money out of. I just want to take a quick look over to see what they. So they did the back cover and that. Okay, that looks like a table of contents of some sort. Looks like. So yeah, I usually, depending upon how many pictures I want to take and how many pages it is, a lot of times these things will have indexes in them. Now 800 pages would be a very big index, but if it's about a 200-page catalog, a lot of times they'll have about 6 pages worth of index. I will take those pictures of those, even though it doesn't make very good visually appealing pictures. People might look at it and say, hey, I'm interested today of library desks. Okay. Oh, they've got 12 pages of library desks.
Sure.
So I will add
or
that
protractors. You think they have protractors or compasses?
Yeah, libraries probably take the compass and throw it in the ceiling tiles.
I want a drafting table. I used to have one of those.
All right, so we'll head on into the next thing we have over here, which is pretty exciting.
Oh, the potato. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You say potato, I say potato. The Potato by Samuel Fraser. Orange Judd is actually a publisher that will sell. That was why I put that there. The other reason I put that there is...
Don't say it's Ashley's uncle or godfather or grandfather.
I think it's Orange Juice Jones's cousin. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
That'll get all the millennials as 1980s references. I saw you and him in the rain.
Oh, God.
But this is one of those that I basically put the publisher in the title because, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What keywords can you use with the potato? Spuds? I mean, what exactly can you use?
Yep.
You want to talk about something that... I even love the fact that it's a dull brown cover.
Yeah.
It's really taking the potato motif.
Indentations, potatoes, with those little things.
Oh, yeah, they're like the eyes of potato. Yeah. I did get $19 out of it. It's just so plain. And it's one of those things that if you saw that sitting in a box of books... it definitely does not jump out at you. No. But I got $19 out of it, and I probably at most paid $1 for it. But Orange Judd is a publisher to look for. And if you're in the East Coast, or I would think the Midwest, you can find a fair amount of stuff from that publisher because they basically only did agricultural books. So if you do find them, get those listed. They do sell. What an exciting start to my stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep that excitement going. You can go to, if this is too much excitement for you, you can go to St. Joseph's Hospital, Elmira, New York, Bulletin. December 1968, nurses, Eileen Boyce, who must be the nurse on the cover, it did sell for the $16. And it just goes to show that you just never really know what's going to sell. Literally, this was put out to employees of the hospital. And, put out in 1968. But the flip side of that, how many of these exist in the world at this point?
Not many.
I was going to say 3, and one was for sale, and the other 2 are sitting in somebody's attic somewhere.
Yeah. Nurse Boyce, probably family has one. That's about it.
Yeah, exactly. They probably saved one.
Yeah, wondering why she's so shocked.
Shocked that somebody bought this. But just goes to show that sometimes you can find things like this, and trust me, you're not going to pay very much for something or other like this. You throw this in a pile of the magazines, and they probably won't even count it as a magazine. They'll be like, oh, what is this? And you can have that. And they just want to hand me $16. I'll take that every day of the week.
Can't argue with that.
Next item we have over here. This one I put up. It didn't go for very much. But let me ask you, how have you, if you get a magazine and the cover's detached, and the front cover is detached, and the back cover is detached, so you can literally hold the front cover in one hand and the back cover in the other hand, how do you or your employees describe that? Because I've always wondered how you would describe that.
I would say completely detached, I guess. But usually we actually tape them because once it goes in the box, if you don't, if it's something super valuable, we may put it in a sleeve, untaped.
Now you mentioned that it has tape?
Yes, yeah, and we'll scan it. But but I think it's just safer taping it. It's not going to change the value, and it won't get destroyed. The cover won't get destroyed in a box with other heavy magazines on top flopping around over time. So that's just my opinion on that.
Okay, well. My first thought when I saw this magazine is this lady's not going to have to buy a drink all night. Look Magazine, February 24th, 1942.
This looks
Gloria,
so familiar. You sold this before. You had to. I've seen this before.
Gloria Vanderbilt, Marilyn Shaw, Byron Price. I have sold it before. Absolutely right. Probably used the same joke back then too. But I've been using that joke since 1942, I'll have you know. But if you read my description, some corner where front cover is split, detached. So that's the wording that I use.
Detached cover. Yeah.
But then I put split because it's split in two.
Right.
I'm not really familiar with there being a precise way to say that. So I figure that way I'm at least telling them, and when they get it, and as Mr. Magazine said, I don't do the tape, but I do put it in a bag. Now I lay these flat, so it's laid flat in a bag, so it's protected that way. But you definitely do want to make sure that if you have something like this, and another tip to you out there, if this were to have a very long tear up the spine, but it's not completely split, listed it's split, you're not going to get very much less for it.
Yeah.
And you'd hate to tell them long tear up the spine, and then it sells 3 years later, and you've taken other things in and out of the box, and it splits. You might as well just tell them it's split. And I've never had a complaint from somebody that said, you said this cover was split and it wasn't.
Right.
Not going to happen. So that way, at least you prepare for the inevitable damage in shipping or in storage.
Well, two things I noticed real quick, though.
Yep.
She's extremely happy. Good for her.
She's the belle of the ball.
But I noticed you did not mention Hitler in there as well.
And that ties into another video we have coming up with scared words. Certain words that you shy away from listing just because you don't really want the AI to peg it. And that happens to be a word that I don't always use just because of that reason, because you're never really sure about how the AI is going to treat it, and you don't want to poke the bear. Next item we have up over here, and this you probably recognize as well because I've sold this before as well. Complete guide and map of Irondequoit, New York, 1981 shopping place. It's just something you can tell by the giant mailing label on it. It got the town, I'm assuming the merchants of the town got together and they all advertised in it and they sent it out to all the residents of the town. I believe I took a $16 offer on this, but it literally, what would be another word for this? Junk mail.
Farrah Fawcett lookalike on the cover.
Literally, it's junk mail.
Yeah.
And I got lucky and
$2 cover price, $1.95.
Wow. I don't think anybody actually paid that for it. I think they just put it on to ship it out.
Exactly.
What are you? Let's get really deep into the weeds. I wonder if they needed a cover price on it to get to a different form of shipping it out. Some kind of mailing back in the day where we can use it, we can ship it out cheaper if we put a cover price on it. Who knows?
Could be.
People used to do all kinds of crazy things to save a couple of bucks back in the day. This is literally junk mail. I had 2 of them. I sold 2 of them. You can find these things out there. They'll be off in some corner somewhere. You're not going to get charged for it, or if you do, you're going to get charged 50 cents to $1 at most. Odds are they probably won't even charge it if you're buying other stuff. They'll just look at it. And again, another throw-in that'll end up selling well for you. People take a lot of pity. I mean, throw things in because they think I need it. This over here is kind of interesting. Josephine Crumrine, Alaska Cruise Line Menu, Alaskan Sled Dog, Chaco. First thing I did over here is I used the Auction Professor zoom in, because if I can find the mouse, that's what it looks like.
Wow.
I think it looks a lot better that way. Kind of jumps out at you versus that. I did get the full $31 out of it. Believe it or not, I paid $5 for this.
Wow.
I was at an auction and the person was saying, you got to look what these things go for. And they had 8 of them and they started the bid at $40 and I ended up winning it. So paid $40 for the 8 of them. So $5 a piece. Sadly, this is the first one that I sold. So that being said, I sell another one and I broke even and I'll make money on the other 6.
Right.
She apparently is a famous artist doing Alaskan dog paintings, I guess. And then they used it for a menu, which as you see over here, I did picture the menu as well. So again, the zoom in definitely works and makes things look a lot better. So definitely do use it if you can. Got a couple more over here. This one over here. This one I'm extremely proud of having sold. Kodak World Competition 1931 ad sheet Art Deco Great Britain. Now that's just interesting. It jumps out at you and it's really interesting. It's a little corner wear and folded in half.
Now you know where the Lotto got their idea for the big checks.
That is true. Very, very true. Wish YouTube would give us one of those. 3.5 by 5.5.
Wow.
That is very small. Size of a postcard over there. Went for the $32. You cannot argue with that whatsoever because I found that in a book. So sometimes you'll find things like this just sitting in books. Probably one of a kind, I would think. There cannot be a lot of these out there.
Prove it.
Another little tip, because we live in Rochester, I have a section of the store called Kodak, Eastman Kodak, and I list all Eastman Kodak stuff in it. So that went in there as well. So this will drive traffic to my other Kodak items. Funny thing is, I got in a book that had nothing to do with Kodak whatsoever, and I got it from somebody out of town. So I don't know why this ever got saved, but it did.
And what if you get magazines or music from the rapper Kodak Black? You put them in the same category?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
Yes, I do. Definitely do.
Okay.
Oh, definitely. No doubt at all about it. And if I get Kodachrome for the single by Paul Simon, I do the same. And the last item we have up over here, Song of a Shoe, 1886, WW Apsley, Philadelphia booklet, Day-sewed shoe manufacturing. It's really a neat little piece. It measures 3.25 by 5.25. And if you take a look at it, it's got illustrations for every letter. It's really, really nice. Probably one of a kind. Years ago, I would have priced this at $40 and it would have sold at $25. I got this. I said, I can't find anything on it. Probably one of a kind. I put it up at $124. Somebody offered me $65. And I hemmed and I hawed on it.
Yeah.
And finally I said, it hasn't been up all that long. I think it's better than that. I countered them at $100 and they took it.
Oh, nice.
So cannot argue with that whatsoever to get $100 out of this. But it just goes to show that when you do have these rare items, which this definitely is a rare item. Again, it's I think that's kind of the theme of what we have here today. I think out of the 6 or 7 items that I showed, there might be 25 of them left in the world. I mean,
and certainly no one's alive that actually owned one of these.
That would be absolutely true. So don't underprice your items. For years, we both made that mistake of underpricing items like this. And again, I would have put it at 40. Guy would offer me 25. That would have been out the door in 2 seconds because I think I paid $1 for it.
Sure.
Would have been out the door so fast, and I would have said, oh my gosh, I turned $1 into 25. That's great. Now I sat back and I said, this is actually a really nice piece. It's really, really rare. I'm not even going to take the 65.
Right.
And hopefully you learn some lessons out of that over there, and hopefully this does help you some. Do hit the like button if you could, and we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye.